Ripping it up on RevZilla, I'm Bucky, and today we're checking out the all-new 2016 Aprilia Tuono Factory 1100. For those of you who don't know, the Tuono is Aprilia's naked street version of the RS-V4 Superbike. We're going to take a quick look around this bike so I can point out a few key features, and then we're going to throw a leg over and see what this beast can really do. Now the first thing you'll notice about looking at the Aprilia Tuono is that it looks exactly like its superbike counterpart, the RS-V4, except you get less fairing, a smaller windscreen, and handlebars instead of clip-ons, which give you a more relaxed ride for longer trips and daily commutes. Other thing I want to point out is you get upgraded components that you would normally be buying aftermarket. First off, we have a quick shifter that is like butter to give you fast upshifts without using the clutch lever. We also get, with the factory option, full Öhlins suspension along with an Öhlins fully adjustable steering dampener. The RR version gets Sachs suspension and a non-adjustable Sachs steering dampener. Another cool upgrade that you get on both models, a great component that I love, is the braking system. You get a Brembo master cylinder, steel braided lines instead of rubber, and dual Brembo calipers up front to give you plenty of stopping power. Aprilia is now in its third generation of APRC electronics that gives you traction control, wheelie control, and launch control. And it's also complemented by a Bosch race-ready ABS system, all top-of-the-line electronics packages. The other thing I want to talk about is the power. You get 175 horsepower in this 1077cc motor as compared to the 1000cc motor in the RS-V4. That in turn gives you a little bit more torque and a more linear power band throughout the entire bike, and I'll touch up that in a second. Now that you know what this bike looks like and some of its key features, let's jump on and see what it all means in action. Love the sound of that motor. Now the first thing I want to say before I get into the fun part of this road is that this bike is really a wolf in sheep's clothing. It may have the nomenclature of naked bike, but it's really a high performance machine. There's a good reason why there's buzz in the industry of the Tuono being a top contender for Bike of the Year. It may have things like upright handlebars and less fairings, but don't get me wrong, there's telltale signs that this came straight off of a race bike. First off, it has rear sets instead of lower position foot pegs, like that of the older generation Ducati Monster. I rode that last year, and my major gripe was that I was dragging foot peg everywhere, and it really hindered my ground clearance. With these rear sets, you don't. I pre-ran this road to reacquaint myself yesterday. I had the bike at full lean, and not once did I drag peg. Listen to the grunt of this V4, it's just amazing. Another characteristic that this is a full-out performance machine is that you get the same exact electronics as you would the RS-V4. Most other nakeds don't even offer that, or they'll give you a different electronics package than what they have for their race machines. Woo. Let's talk about the components. You can see I'm going over these undulating elevation changing turns, and the Öhlins is just soaking it up perfectly. It does such a great job of allowing me to keep this bike stable, even though I'm flicking it from side to side really quickly. This bike handles amazing. Now I'm coming up to some very drastic changes in elevation, and the Öhlins does a great job of keeping me planted, keeping the bike stable instead of pogoing around. It's a great thing about the upgraded components on the factory bike. I've gone through this road on my other super bikes, and it doesn't have the same feel. I'm coming up to a turn that's really, really tight, and at the end of it, there's some bumps that normally create chatter on my super bikes. This thing just soaks it up and I don't feel it at all. Here it comes. You can see the Brembos allow me to trail brake deep into this turn, and that's where the bumps normally are. You probably didn't see any vibration on the cameras, and I'm able to just motor on. Here we go again, trail braking into a tight turn. The Brembo braking system is really top notch. The feel on them is amazing. There's no vagueness or wooden feel. And you always know that you'll get that out of Brembos or other higher performance braking systems. The next thing I want to talk about is the electronics package you get with this. Now the cool thing about the electronics is that it has on-the-fly traction control adjustment. My BMW S1000 RR requires me to do something weird like pull in the clutch, turn off the throttle, and change the traction control level and wait about 2 or 3 seconds before it actually kicks in. On a canyon road like this, I just don't have that opportunity. I need it now. I need it right away in case I come into the road and it gets very, very dirty, like here. I know that that's only a small section, but if I come to longer stretches, then I need to change it. And I can easily do that. Even while leaning like this, I can knock down my traction control right now. I'm currently lowering my traction control, giving me more lenience for the bike stepping out, which I kind of like. But if I don't like that, I can step it all the way up. It has 8 levels, but for dry conditions, I would suggest only going to level 6. Let's see if I can get this thing to light off for you, so that you can see the instrument panel indicating that it's intervening. Yep, see, I felt that. I wouldn't go to level 7 or 8 because it's really meant for the wet conditions. The other thing about this bike that I really love is the power. You can be all the way down in the rev range, like now, get on the gas and you still have a lot of grunt from this V4. It handles just like any of the other V-twins that you know. Thumbs up. The power on this motor kicks in really about 6,500 RPMs, and it's so linear and smooth that it continues to climb and you don't even know it. You're gonna be bouncing off the tack before you even realize that the bike wants another gear just to go faster. I truly am in love with this bike. The only thing that would make it better for me and my book is the RS-V4. So I think this gives you a pretty good idea of what this bike is capable of. There are no doubt a number of issues that I wasn't able to cover in the time I have. So go on to Common Tread at RevZilla and check out my article where I talk into more detail and cover more elements of what makes this Aprilia Tuono an amazing bike. Be sure to subscribe to RevZilla on YouTube to stay up to date with our opinion of the latest and greatest in the moto universe. Until next time, I'm Bucky. Peace.